All right, all right. Welcome back to a new episode of the Sons of Montezuma podcast. We are live here at San Diego Brewing Company here in San Diego, California. Of course, we are here where everybody knows your name, and they know the Sons of Montezuma when we are in the building. Welcome, everybody. It's the beginning of a new football season here for San Diego State, and I'm joined to the left of me. Well, he's protecting our borders from sea to shining sea. And he is here sipping a cold one at SD Brewing Company. What's up, K5 James? Good to see you, man.
Oh, man, it's good to be here. It's good to come off a win, celebrate a W. Can't wait to talk about it.
Very proud of you. The whiskers are coming in very nicely.
Starting to get it back a little bit.
I can recognize you now. And to the right of me, joining us, you cannot stop him. You can only hope to contain him. He's helping us out on the football episode, and he's rocking. I know what dude he picked. Parker Houston took the mullet as well. He's rocking the moulet. What's going on, SD Sports Fiend?
I'm doing really well. Thanks for having me, guys. Appreciate it. Man, what a great win for the Aztecs. Mullet Mania started out with a whimper, but finished strong in the second half. So, yeah, really excited about talking about it with you guys.
All right. So, like we said, SD Brewing Company, San Diego Brewing Company, make sure you guys give them a visit. They're doing some good things. Just had a big remodel down here, and they've been friends to the show. And, boy, it's great to see everybody in the chat. Thank you guys. Before we get into everything on this Aztecs Victory Taco Tuesday, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Helps us get the algorithm all crazy. And let's keep this season going because there's a lot to be excited about, guys. You know, we were there at the game. We tailgated like crazy. It was a beautiful weather day out there at the River Park, and we're going to get into everything about the game. But Aztec Fast. James, we were there watching, and Aztec Nation was getting a little nervous there in that first half. Like Fiend said, Danny Dimes came around, rallied the troops, and came out with a decisive victory. But that first half, dude, you could feel the angst in the crowd. I wrote an article that it was a little bit of an exciting game, but also a lot of pressure in this game.
Oh yeah,
a lot of pressure.
Yeah, man. Leaving the game, especially the first half, I didn't have great feelings. There was like glimpses of good stuff. And then the second half came and I felt a little better, but still I didn't feel all that great going home that night. But the next day I was able to watch the broadcast and I came away with like a whole different appreciation of the game. The first half wasn't as bad as I initially thought. And then the second half was just awesome. So I think there was a lot of good to take from it. And I'm super excited to see what they do against a FBS team this week. That's a pretty solid team. So there's a lot of things to grow on, and I think it's going to be fun to watch Saturday.
James' power of positivity is at it again. Fiend, you're stepping in, helping us out a little bit, man. That first half, I know you're all about Danny Dimes. It was a lot of pressure, dude. I mean, for a QB1, true freshman, right? Sean Lewis's first game as head coach in the Aztec Fast era. And, what were you thinking in that first half, man? I mean, because the first drive started, it was literally like 2 runs for little gain, 2 incompletions, and 2 penalties on the offensive line. And I know that was something that coach addressed with the penalties, 16 of them.
Yeah, it was kind of almost like a repeat of the FanFest game where there was so many penalties, and we saw our guys constantly behind the sticks, 3rd and long, and it's very tough to convert those possessions when you're constantly in 3rd and long situations because of penalties. And we were trying to go fast, but at the same time, I think we were going too fast because guys were committing these unforced errors, and it was just real sloppy play, and so I felt bad for Danny, because he's coming into a situation where it's got to be nerve-wracking for him for a first game. And his nerves definitely showed with some of those passes that he threw. He sailed over, some of the receivers' heads, and some of the receivers dropped passes. So no one really helped him out in the first half, and it definitely showed. That's why the offense stunk.
I mean, it's a little crazy when you got an FCS opponent coming into the building, and I see Melanie McElroy. What's up? They sit down there behind the end zone and close to Commerce's sideline, and she's saying they were talking all kinds of trash. You get that momentum on your side. You're facing against a true freshman quarterback. You're trying to get in his head and rattle him a little bit. So you can see their sideline was getting a little fired up. I don't really know if Sean Lewis had like a thunderous speech at halftime. I don't think it was all about that. From everything we heard from the players, it was more just encouraging. Okay, you guys know what you need to do. Of course, they made some adjustments, right? I think that was an article about looking at the tablets and using technology on their side. Okay, but boy, all that pressure. I said it from the beginning when Sean Lewis decided to go with Danny O'Neil as his quarterback one, the first time ever in modern Aztec history to do that. This is his first showing after leaving Colorado in like a really public display of kind of embarrassing situation there in Colorado. Not on Sean Lewis, but more on there in Colorado. Really kind of showed. So I think a lot was on the line, and it was just great to see them come out in that second half. What did you think of that second half, though, James? Because we went and visited my pops around the other end, and as soon as we left, he was like, dude, Cooper just runs for untouched for about 44 yards or so.
Yeah, I think they, like I talked about, there were things I saw in the first half that weren't as bad as I thought they were. And that kind of, the second half was kind of what I was seeing. Guys were just missing holes or just missing an assignment early in the first half. In the second half, they started getting their assignments right. They started hitting the right hole. And man, you saw with Cooper's crazy game, he was that one long run, like he said, he was untouched. And the receivers did a great job. The linemen did a great job. And just by the nature of the offense, we talked about it before the season started, like the nature of this offense, the running back's going to have huge alleys to run through just because the offense spreads everybody out so much. So, and I think we started to see a little bit of that in the second half when they were able to have a little bit of fear of the passing game to spread them out even more. So I think it's a good sign. It's a positive sign that this offense is going to work this year. But again, we'll see. Next week is going to be the real big test.
That's the big question for everybody. Is like, how much can you take away from this game against an FCS opponent? I mean, I'd never even knew who Texas Commerce was, but I'll remember that name for that first half that they put up. I'll remember that name now. But okay, Fiend, your take on the second half. That touchdown run opened everything up. It really did. But then Danny Dimes kind of lived up to that name, throwing that long strike out there to Lewis Brown. I mean, take me a little bit more into detail on what you saw with Danny and how he bounced back, kept his cool.
I mean, I'm just really impressed with the resilience from a true freshman to come out of halftime and, to put together a totally separate game from the first half. And, like, his throws in the second half were on money. I mean, he hit Brown in stride, and, I mean, the guy caught it one-handed because the defender was pulling his other arm back. And but Danny looked really sharp in the pocket, making great decisions. I really love that one play where he looked like he was going to run it, and then he pulled it and tossed it out to Napier. And
that was a risky throw, dude. That was a risky throw. But it was like within the offense, you know what I mean? And you'd love to see that reaction.
That's the other thing is, like, he didn't make any, like, really terrible mistakes in this game, like he did in the Fan Fest where he had 2 interceptions. Despite the fact that we were not moving the ball in the first half, we weren't turning it over. Granted, it's against a team that's, I think, picked to finish 7th in their division in FCS, so they're not a really good team, and we're going to see what the Aztecs are made of this week against Oregon State. But I mean, I thought that just the second half was really positive, the way he was doing the ball and the confidence that he had in the pocket.
I was surprised when he ran the ball. I was pretty surprised on, like, just his feel running out there in wide open space. He kind of had like eyes in the back of his head, pulling up and pulling the e-brake a little bit. So that was really positive to see. But the penalties, that's something that, you can't have those penalties against a FBS opponent coming out of the Power 2, Pac 2.
Yeah, man, and that's a little bit of a carryover from the last couple of years. This roster is still made up of a lot of the same guys that we've had the last few years. And I don't know if you recall, but that was kind of a big thing the last few years under Brady Hoke, is we had a lot more penalties than we've been used to here at San Diego State. So that's hopefully something that they're going to clean up. It may be a thing we're going to have to deal with all year just because it's the nature of the team. They like to play physical. They like to get rough. And sometimes it leads to stuff like that. The stuff that was really concerning was the offensive line stuff, the false starts and things of that nature. That's like a mental thing, and that stuff they should be able to clean up. But again, we'll wait and see this coming Saturday and ongoing.
So what jumped out about you guys about Marquez Cooper? I got a little video. I don't know if our producer Andrew has it ready, because one of the things that jumped out, and it went beyond me until I think Andy brought it to my attention, and him calling out after the game Boise State's Janty. Now, keep in mind, Cooper, he's got room to talk, right? So it's not like he's talking out of school. I mean, he is in the lead of all-time rushers right now in college football as far as active
rushers. Yeah.
Active rushers. 5'7". I call them the Aztecs fast. They had the Lambos out there on the field in the recruiting process. I don't know if we're gonna call him Mini Cooper, but he's supercharged engine, dude, and he puts people, in their place. So I don't know. You got that queued up, Andrew? I want to hear that. Let's take a look at it.
No, did you see what Ashton Genty did today? Did you come in understanding and try to compete with that and understanding that, hey, look, y'all can start talking about me too and put my name in some of those conversations with the things that he did today?
I seen what he did today. I don't think he's the type of back that I am. I think I'm the best back in this conference, and I want to make that known.
Oh man. I don't know if everybody could hear that, okay, but he was loud and clear talking about how he feels. The reporter asked him basically, did you see what Janty did with Boise State? And he's like, yeah, I saw what he did, but I feel like I'm the best running back in the conference, right? In the nation, maybe he may feel like that, right? He's got the lead, so I'd love to see that though, man. I mean, this team is coming with that be the alpha mentality. And for somebody his size, we're not strangers to seeing that with Pumphrey and a lot of other running backs that have come through here. So to see him, he's a different style runner though. I mean, he's 200 pounds, 5'7", 200 pounds, dude.
Yeah, man. To me, that clip wasn't so much him talking trash to Janty, it was just confidence in himself, and there's a big difference. That's not. People might think that's bullet board material, but I don't think it is. It's just a guy being confident. Hey, I'm the best, so I don't have a problem with that. But like you said, man, the way he runs, I've talked about it before. He kind of reminds me a lot of Napoleon Kaufman, the old Raiders running back from back in the day. Kind of a shorter guy that's real thick. And he had some runs. I think it was right before his second touchdown where they kind of had him stopped at the first down marker.
Yeah.
And he kind of just threw that guy off of him and kept going. And he finally got caught like near the goal line. But that kind of physical running, man, it's fun to see from a guy who's that quick as well.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, he's doing stuff that we haven't seen since Rashad Penny. We hadn't had a 200-yard rusher since Rashad Penny's last game as an Aztec. And so for him to do it in his first game as an Aztec, that's pretty special. I mean, even though it's coming against, some lower competition, but still, he is the FBS leading rusher returning. And he's a great runner, and I agree with you. That one where I thought he was down. It was like, how did he? I thought he was down, and he just popped up, and then he's gone for another 20 yards. And so I think it's gonna be really exciting to watch. I just wonder if maybe they've been using, or they used him, or maybe they will use him too much in this system, because you got 27 rushes. I mean, I thought in the past, we've been used to a stable of backs, rotation, and
that was kind of a knock. That was kind of a knock that some of us had, like mixing too many guys in there, like have a bell cow and like let them get in rhythm. But
right, but I'm wondering, like, over a course of the season, can a guy hold up with 27 rushes, especially at his size?
I feel like he's trying to establish the offense. You know what I mean? Like I said, this was a big game, pressure game. Even though it's FCS opponent, you want to make sure you get that win and secure it. So, I mean, you're right. 27 carries. Nobody else had more than 5, and that was Jalen Armstead. But I think with this specific case, he knows the offense. He's somebody that coach can trust right now to be up to speed and have that leadership. I think it's going to take a couple games, maybe, right, for guys like Jalen Lucky, and of course when Keenan Christian can get back healthy, to shoulder the load, right? I would think.
I think it's going to be more of like a flow of the game kind of thing. We don't have a lot to judge Coach Lewis on other than his time at Kent State. And his time there, he had one alpha guy that got most of the carries, but the other guys still were. I think one year had like almost 800 yards as the number 2 runner, and another had like 600 yards as number 2 runner. So there's going to be guys to get behind Cooper that are going to get some carries. And especially when a guy like Kristen comes back, that's a different dimension that he brings when he gets back. I think he'll be seeing a lot more time as well.
You know, the one thing I noticed on the broadcast about Cooper was his ability to make guys miss.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, everyone, you know, got man on man, and then he's got to make one guy miss, whether it's a safety or a linebacker. And that's how he's able to break those runs for like 20 or 30 yards, because he can make one guy miss and you know, rack up over 200 yards. I think we've been missing that in the past. I think we've had guys who, like, you know, couldn't make that guy miss, and they get taken down, you know, for like a 5-yard gain. It'd still be a good game, but it wasn't, you know, a big long run.
Yeah,
he had several in this game.
The offensive line isn't going to block a play perfectly every single time. So sometimes you need a guy at running back that can make somebody miss to help his offensive line out.
And a guy like Penny, got a guy like Pumphrey, they did that all the time.
Yeah.
And that's why they're such great runners.
Special runners, special dudes. I know they made a point of highlighting Balin Brooks blocking downfield. He's a big receiver, and those little things count. I mean, we've heard that for years from coaching staffs previous, right? I mean, that's, you get your wide receivers out there blocking. That's the difference between a 5-yard run and a 50. So hopefully that continues. Guys, what else do we want to talk about in this game before we move on to Oregon State? The Beavers come to town.
We haven't really talked about the defense at all.
I know. Yeah, that's another big thing, because they were very opportunistic in this game, right? Very opportunistic. Well, they had like 4 sacks.
Yeah, 4 sacks.
And a pick 6, a fumble recovery in the end zone. Tano Latuli falls on that, and boy, the leadership on that defense really stepped up when they needed to. The captains of the defense stepped up when they needed to. Of course, Trey White and Latuli and Marlon Lewis, of course.
Oh, yeah.
So some talented guys there on the line. That was impressive to see.
Ryan Henderson got a big sack.
Henderson got a big, man. They were playing physical out there. You know, they had to dial them down a little bit from some of the penalties, but you love to see it.
Christian Clay, he's got a motor, man. That guy, he moves around.
Yeah.
He chases down quarterbacks. And so I love the speed of this defense, and I love the physicality. I think, you know, they were able to move the ball a little bit on us and push us back on the line, but the linebackers and the defensive backs, man, they were hitting hard.
Yeah.
And, you know, you saw that hit by Bryce Phillips.
Oh, yeah. That was a nasty hit.
That was a nasty one where he got the 15-yard penalty because he stood over him flexing. But I mean, there's that alpha mentality, you know. So I just love how that was kind of a concern with Rocky Long and Brady Hoke leaving. How physical is this team going to be? Because that's what they were built on, was the physicality. And so that was kind of refreshing to see them out there really, really laying some hits.
I mean, I'd rather see our guy standing over, you know, showing off after a big hit than not, to be honest with you. So.
Yeah, that's kind of I think Coach Lewis talked about it in his press conference. You know, you want your guys to be like that, but you just dial it back a little bit. So yeah, I made a specific point when we were talking to Parker Houston, like talking about the physicality of this team that the staff wants to bring with this staff versus the prior staffs. Like, just because we might throw the ball around a little more, it doesn't mean it's not going to be a physical style football team. And I think they kind of showed that a little bit on Saturday. As you were saying about the defensive line getting pushed around, that's one of the things I wanted to talk about when we talk about the Oregon State game. It was a little concerning because there were times where the offensive front of Texas A&M Commerce was able to kind of push around our defensive line. It wasn't a lot, but every now and then they were able to, and that was a little concerning. And that's why Saturday is such a big test, and it'll really show us what kind of team this is. And I'm super stoked to see, man, because that Oregon State running game, man, it's no joke. They're going to come out and try to pound us. So
that's what it sounds like. Coach Lewis was saying they're more like a time of possession. They want to keep you off the field especially if you're explosive offense. So kind of a little change in what we're used to seeing. The Beavs, man. We went up there for that trip last year. That was a good trip. It wasn't a great game. But this is a totally different team now. I mean, different coach. They hired him from within. I believe. Yeah,
he was their offensive coordinator.
So it's not like they're completely different, but Coach Lewis knows some of those players that he transferred over from Colorado. So that's going to be interesting if there's any kind of any tidbits he can take and kind of use it against those guys, some of their strengths and weaknesses. I don't know. I'm just talking about it.
I think here's the big difference between last year and this year with our team. Last year, what did they get up at one point? It was a fairly close game for most of it until like the third quarter, I believe. Then they got up by like 13 points or something like that. I don't remember exactly. But at that point, we all kind of like, oh man, I don't think we can score 13 points to catch up.
Yeah.
Now I don't have that same fear of getting down early on a team. I think this team has the explosiveness with the receivers, with the running backs, with the way the offensive line is played and the way the quarterback is playing. I don't think this year we're going to have those games where, oh man, they're up 14 points on us. We're done, man. It's going to be a nightmare. We're going to have to hope they mess up so we catch up. So I'm excited to have that look going forward. It's going to make the games more entertaining.
Yeah, definitely. You're always going to be in the game, as long as you're not getting blown out.
Yeah.
You're always going to be in the game as long as you're not getting blown out. Oh. What is that hair doing to you, Fiend?
There's some truth to that.
No, well, I will tell you this. It was an exciting game to watch. Even in that first half when things weren't going our way, you could see the style was different. The energy was different. It's just those misses. If they clean up those mistakes, that's been, I'm sure, the talk since the game is just you got to clean up those mistakes. What did coach say? Control the controllables.
Yeah.
False starts, holdings, all those things that you just keep shooting yourself in the foot. If they could get that turned around, it's a tall ass. But I think every game is just going to get a little tougher, right? Because our non-conference isn't like we're playing world beaters here. I mean, we're talking about Oregon State, Cal, Washington State. These are all teams that I see them as our peers. I see them as being on par with us. And they may have Pac-12 affiliation in the past, but like there's nothing I think that separates us that far from being able to beat these guys. I don't care if we have a new coach, new players, anything. Like we should go in there with the expectation to win every game.
I think they started off as 3-point favorites over us. So, I mean, the line is pretty close. So, yeah, we definitely have a chance in this game. I mean, we have to execute and play really smart, football and not shoot ourselves in the foot. I think we can, it's going to be interesting, just the contrasting styles, right? I mean, it's a team that we used to be, and we're ball control, and now we're trying to move the opposite and go fast. So it's
oh boy.
So it's going to be kind of interesting to see that, looking like our old selves, in their uniforms. So I don't know. I don't know what to expect, man. I just hope that we have a good showing and we have a good crowd and it's a lot of fun, man. I look forward to these games against these Pac-12 teams. I mean, I know the Pac-12's no more; it's the Pac-2, but still, I still look forward to these non-conference games. And we've had some great wins over the past 6-7 years, against this conference.
Oh, we got some beavers in the chat. Get out of here. All we hear are go Beavs up there in Corvallis and chainsaw noises in the background.
No, man, like the talent disparity pretty much on the rest of the schedule is not going to be significant. So it's all going to be whether our guys can execute, and on both sides of the ball, that's going to decide the games. And I think that's like the best you can hope for going into a season. It's not like we're playing, Alabama or, a team like of that nature that's so much on paper, so significantly more talented than we are.
Colorado State having to go play at Texas week 1.
Ooh, that was brutal. How about UNLV, man? UNLV taking down Houston. That was pretty cool, interesting to see. Pretty cool at the same time. And knowing that we interviewed Brendan Marion, right, their offensive coordinator, we interviewed him, the go fast offense that they had. So that tells you right there, they're formidable.
I mean, I like to see all those teams, in the Mountain West play well out of conference, with the exception of maybe Boise. But,
Utah State. We just keep listing. Just keep listing every.
We name half the conference.
Quit lying. Quit lying, Fiend. Okay, before we move on any further, we're gonna pay some bills. I think it's a good time. It's a good time. Call them what you want them, guys. Knee knockers, golden nuggets, thigh slappers, etc. But our friends at manscaped.com refer to them as the boys, and I'm here with the boys. We're chilling here. Yeah. Not every man has children. This is true. But every man is responsible for their two boys below the waist. When your little guys have more hair than they need, trust Manscaped for all your grooming dreams. Boys need love too. So join the 10 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. by going to manscaped.com right now and use code SUNS20 for 20% off plus free shipping. It still works. You can go over there right now. Get the lawnmower 5.0. We got it. I trust it. It's all good. The boys are back in town. Aztecs football is here 2024. Protect your boys. Treat them well. Manscaped.
Oh yeah, excellent. The golf clap.
No, shout out to Manscaped. They've been great. They're local, obviously here in San Diego, guys. So got to support them. And yeah, good stuff. They actually have really, really good stuff. So I'm not only just a shill reading all this, but I'm actually a client. It's really good stuff.
What's that old hair club for men thing?
Yeah. Okay, guys, what do we want to talk about next? Because I know we got kind of heated this week, Fiend. We were talking about really everything that we saw there at the game. It was the first chance to get back in there, third season at Snapdragon Stadium, guys, and I was pumped to get back in there, tailgating, seeing all the new effects that they may have on the jumbo and the entertainment value, all that stuff. We've kind of ripped into it a couple of years, these past years, like a new stadium, like what's going on. I had so much fun at the game. I wasn't concerned about who was there, who wasn't there. To be honest with you, I was soaking it up. But I've been seeing a lot of complaints out there, not selling enough tickets, not packing the place out for opening game. We kind of got into it this week a little bit, Fiend, just talking about, man, what? Why is it brand new coach, all the excitement centered around him, as from diehards and supporters we know, and it just wasn't packed, man. It wasn't as full as we felt it should be, and especially what were your points on that, man? Because I know you were getting kind of fiery on that.
Well, I mean, usually the first game of the year is Sky Show, right? When we had
don't get me started on Sky Show. They took our Sky Show. They took our Monty.
I mean, you want to pack the place and bring back Sky Show. The place would have been packed. I mean, I think this next week is going to be the true judge of how we're doing on ticket sales and if we're hitting the right price points for the price of tickets. Because if that place is not sold out for Oregon State, which is a big opponent with a new coach, exciting offense, and they adjusted the prices downward for the tickets this year for season tickets and I believe for individual tickets as well. If they're not selling out that place, then I think it speaks to a bigger issue, and they need to revise, some of their pricing.
Yeah, excuse me. I'm of two minds, man, because I see where you're coming from, but I think it's just a San Diego thing, dude. I mean, us diehards were there every year. The 10,000 or so.
Don't you talk about my city like that? Don't you?
But dude, San Diego just does not support college football, really, man.
I don't know. I don't agree with that though. Look at in 2017 when we had Penny. We beat Arizona State. We beat Stanford. They were ranked. And then we had a big game against Boise and I think Fresno State. In those games, I think we drew like 45,000. At least that was the ticket sales.
Right.
So I think the potential is there. I mean,
yes.
when you're only
Everybody loves a winner.
25,000 tickets.
I'm not saying they won't come out. I'm just saying we don't have in San Diego a generally large following of fans that care about college football enough to know who Sean Lewis is, what this new offense is going to be. They don't pay attention enough. So once it gets rolling, and if we get off to a hot start and we get off to like a 4-0, 5-0, 6-0 start, then we could start seeing bigger crowds like that, because it's kind of like a show me town, man. I mean, with the Padres, it took a while before they started filling up every game, even in Petco Park. So I think this town is more of like a show me town, and we're not going to get those kind of crowds until this team rolls off to a hot start. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
And then you got to promote it, right. And I think they have the right coach to do that. He's on social media. He's telling people, bring a friend, pack the Snapdragon Stadium, and I think he's just a great person to be leading that charge, And so, yeah, you got to win. You got to win in this town. Yep. But I also think the entertainment value, because of what is available in this town. We're not in Lincoln, Nebraska. We're not in Manhattan, Kansas. Like, there's only so many things you can do in those towns, right? You're in like one of the best cities in America where there is a ton to do on a Saturday night. And so you have a lot of choices. And so I think you got to bring the entertainment value, winning, and then the price has to be, where it needs to be able to pack that stadium.
Do you think it is right now? Do you think the price is reflective of where it should be?
Like I said, I don't know, because I don't think you can judge that on a FCS opponent without a Sky Show. They gave out some free,
why wouldn't they have the Sky Show? I don't understand that. That was like an automatic boost. That game was always going to be automatic.
They're going to have it for the Holiday Bowl.
Yeah, I wonder what the economics are behind that, like investing in those fireworks. I know it's not cheap. I'm sure it's not cheap, but that was such a big deal back in the days to get that one game. At least you knew that one game was just going to be packed out. Even if they were just there to watch fireworks, it was a community type of an event that all San Diego looked forward to. You got butts in the seats. You got a brand new stadium. Maybe they feel they don't need to do those things, but then you do for Holiday Bowl or an outside group does it for Holiday Bowl. I don't get it.
I don't think selling or giving away Hawaiian shirts is going to put butts in the seats. So I don't know. It's FCS opponent. Let's see how we do against Oregon State, Washington State. Some of these bigger opponents, and let's see if we can pack them.
Hey, well, we had fun. We were at the tailgate. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. All of our foreign exchange students. Peace out to all the Germans, all the Danish,
the Dutch,
the Swedish, the Dutch. They all rode through the tailgate, man. It was like League of Nations over there. It's like United Nations just showing up at the tailgate. It was awesome, man.
Didn't Big O break a table too?
Yes, we got the proof. That was awesome. But that's what we do, Sons of Money.
Dude, I'm sorry, man. As far as like in the actual game, I did notice a lot. Once it turned dark, they started using the lights a lot more when we scored. We had the fireworks when we scored.
The music was loud.
Yeah, the music was loud. I think it was an improvement, a slight improvement. I mean, there's still stuff we're going to complain about. We always compare them to the Utah game. They're still not there yet, but it's creeping up there. I think
our administration needs to actually go there to a Utah game and see that. And then,
they were there.
Good ideas.
So it's getting better. It's improving. I would like to see more, but that's a great start. Maybe we'll see more as the season goes on.
What do you guys think about the Warrior Walk, moving it to the yellow lot?
I liked it. because that's where we tailgate by. So
nice. I don't think I've seen the Warrior Walk once since we've been tailgating at Snapdragon.
Right, because they had it over in the Mad Max lot where everything was just like dirt and dust.
Yeah, it was fun. I
Surviving.
mean, it was great to just be able to a short walk over there.
Yeah. And they got the big Aztec Village now, right? DJ, like the whole setup they had over there. It was cool. I mean, I don't know what those economics are behind that as well, but they're obviously trying to do that for the long term. I think.
Yeah.
I feel like they have room to put in more of those tents too.
I think that's a really good thing. Like if you don't want to be crazies like us and bring your whole setup and have Mateo's special van to carry everything in, it's a good thing. You decide kind of last minute you want to go to the Aztec game and tailgate. You can take the trolley down there and go hang out in that village. Yeah. So I'm glad that's there, and hopefully that'll kind of take off for people that aren't interested in doing all the prep work to get ready for a tailgate. They can just kind of show up and the tailgate's there already. So hopefully that'll be a thing that'll kind of grow as the season goes on and as hopefully the years go on.
Yeah, and I love the hype videos that San Diego State's doing, and just everything that they're doing to hype up the game environment and the atmosphere. I think it's much better than it's been in years past.
Bring back the chicken. That's all I gotta say. Bring back. Zach Logan says 7:30 is a bad start time, but this is how it is when you play on the West Coast, Zach. I mean, it's not just us. It's not just Mountain West. It's Pac-12 back in those Pac-12 days. I mean, those USC games when they were winning championships, they were playing at 7 o'clock at night when they're playing at home. So it just comes with the territory being on the West Coast.
Yeah, ideally 5 o'clock is like perfect.
Yeah.
But
prime time.
Yeah, I don't mind the 7:30 start time. It's at least you don't have to hear all the complaints about the shade and all that. So I kind of like it. I like playing under the lights. I like that lets you take advantage of the new technology in the stadium and do those kind of fun things. So to me, the start time isn't a big deal. I don't have to worry about taking my kids to church the next day or something like that. So it's a little easier for me to say that. So I understand people that complain. But to me, it's not a huge deal. And I guess it may cut into like some of your partying time after, but that's what you're at the game for. You do your partying there.
And peace out to the students. They filled up the student section, but if the game's in hand, they're probably going to head back to the parties and,
Hey man,
Early.
as long as they show up, man,
Yeah.
I don't care if they say the whole game, that's cool. But as long as they show up, they were out there, they were excited, they were loud when they were there. I have no problem with the student section, man. They were awesome.
Ocean View Coffee Shop says Snapdragon will be rocking. Peace out to Ocean View.
Oh yeah, I hope so, man. I can't wait till Saturday.
I really like the broadcast with True
Oh
TV.
yes,
You know, and the drones that they use with the aerial view when they go to commercial and you see the fireworks shooting off, and it's just a great view of Snapdragon. And you know, you don't really get that when you just have the camera from the booth or on the field, and so that aerial view is awesome because you get to see everything. Now, if we could just get that place packed so it looks full, then it would look even better.
yeah. I was really impressed when I watched it the next day with the True TV crew. I guess they're the Turner crew, whatever you want to call them. It was wild for me having to watch our games on ESPN and CBS College Sports. The guys actually talked about the Aztec game at halftime, so that was really cool having like national telecast guys talk about the Aztec game. And I thought the production values were really good, and it was very entertaining to watch. And I wouldn't mind some more of our games being on True TV. That was a quality broadcast they put on.
Yeah, I agree.
Come for the Aztecs football, stay for the Carbonaro effect or whatever it is they show after that. Practical Jokers.
Practical Jokers.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
always Practical Jokers on True TV, dude.
How do we feel about how the freshmen handled themselves in this game? I believe we talked about that very, very in depth. I think it was great. He had his nerves. That's coming from Zach Logan. He had his nerves, but it's all good.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to jump off of what Fiend said
Yeah.
when he talked about, he didn't make any mistakes. It wasn't even that he didn't make any mistakes. I don't remember a single ball he threw, even the ones he missed, where it was like, oh man, that's a bad throw. They were all like overthrown a little bit or whatever, but he didn't put a ball in a bad position where it might be intercepted or it was close to being intercepted. He put the ball where his guys could get it or nobody could get it. And that's pretty impressive for a true freshman to come out there and not make a single bad throw, man. That's pretty wild. That's pretty. And then again, his pass to Brown, he throws like a very soft catchable ball on his deep balls. Even that
Beautiful dime.
that one in the end zone, it should have been caught.
Yeah.
But that defender made a great play to knock it out of the hands of the receiver. I forgot which receiver it was. Was it Poke? But it was like a perfectly placed ball.
Yep.
So we haven't had a guy that had that kind of touch on deeper passes, and I can't even remember how long, man.
And I feel good about the receivers. I said I feel good about the receivers, their ability to go get it, their ability to go get those balls. If it's not the most perfectly thrown dime. The tight ends, I think Mikey Harrison, they seem like they had a pretty good little connection there on a couple of those drives as well.
Where was Mekhi Shaw? Was he playing that game?
He was still hurt. He's on the depth chart right now. He is listed on the depth chart, but I saw in college you don't really need to update it accurately. I think Alabama was making us think about that or some sort in the SEC, but he was coming off of an injury, so I believe he is on the depth chart for this game coming up, Mekhi Shaw. So we'll have to see how much they'll use after coming back from an injury. We'll see, but I feel confident in my
I feel
receiving group.
great in our receivers.
Yeah.
I
Lewis
heard
Brown.
from a source that he probably will play this week.
Okay.
So I don't know for sure. It's I'm hoping he does because it's nice having that. I feel like he's the guy that is always going to get open and he'll always get you that first down. So it'll be nice to have that kind of guy in the receiving core. Be more of like a consistent. He's not going to really drop any passes. You need that kind of guy. But yeah, this receiving core, man, they have size with Brooks and Brown. They've got a shifty guy and Poke.
Napier looks great.
Napier,